all on the wildlife.
The Wildlife is presented by Fred Meyer.
Hey there, I'm Jeremy. It's been a wild ride getting to the wildlife, which is our new show on Comcast Sportsnet. Thanks for joining me. And today, I'd like to invite you to come with me as we do some outrageous things. If you've never been to the northeast corner of Oregon, I mean, Hell's Canyon, Snake River, the Wallowas, spectacular countryside. And fortunately for me, it's also the direction where my grandfather lives. This guy, he's done it all. He's one of my inspirations when it comes to being adventurous. Everything from making his own wine, traditional archery, backyard mechanics. Well, we stopped in for a surprise visit. Wouldn't you know it, he put me to work, tinkering on a motorcycle. After a little bit of chitting and chatting, he springs one more on me. The guy never ceases to surprise me. It's good and snug. Mm-hmm. I want to fly. I want to be through the air. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea.
Have you done anything like that?
No, I never could understand anybody wanting to step out of a perfectly good airplane when it wasn't on the ground.
But I mean...
I like flying them.
You fly planes?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No. I'm a pilot.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I've been your grandson my whole life, and I didn't know that.
No kidding.
No kidding.
I'll be darned. Yeah, I used to do quite a bit of flying when I lived down in Klamath Falls.
Well, now it's my time to fly. Every sport has its gear to arrange, but out here, your life depends on it. Every glider has 4 sets of lines to control left steering, right steering, braking, and acceleration. If these lines get crossed, I will have little or no control up there. Experts use speed gliders, which are fast, but also descend rapidly. I'm using a glider that's slower, but has a lot more lift. And that's good, unless I hit some thermals and get lifted up, up, and away. There's a lot to think about. Good to go?
Okay.
All right. What you're about to see is some of the most intense and wild things you can do in an area like this. You still get so nervous. It's like your heart is in your throat. In this environment, if you make a mistake, it's a big one. So it's got to be perfect every time. All right, Jeremy. Here we go.
Go, 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 go. Break, 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 break. There you go. Oh, run, run. There you go. Hands up. Right, right. There you go. Good job.
It's just not natural to fly, so you spend a few moments baffled that you're actually doing it. And the first time, it's exhilarating, but there's a sort of focused anxiety. This being my first jump in this environment, I anticipated more lift. I had to give one more push, and I was airborne. You want to enjoy it, but you know that you have to think about landing. Where to land and where not to land. You're never supposed to look precisely at where you shouldn't land. Look instead at where you do want to land. I don't want to flare too early as my sail will gulp air and then stall, dropping me to the ground hard. The mind plays tricks on you though. You want to count to 4 from the instant you think you're landing and then flare. That is so intense. The whole time, you can't believe what's going on. There's just so much going through your head, but at the same time, it's like completely quiet. It's just that silence that just cuts through everything. I couldn't wait to do it again. The wind picked up a little, giving us a headwind from my start. That filled